YouTube to catch up. All right. Turn this camera or microphone towards me. Hello, everybody. Alex here, and I'm joined by somebody very special. Somebody very special. Hold on. Get to my... Yeah? What? What do you want? What do you want? Just trying to get to my... There we go. So Mark is here. Hello, Mark. Hello, everybody. This is my niece. This is Freya. And Freya's a little bit fuzzy, as you can see. So... And so I'm puppy sitting for a few hours today, and it just so happened to be around tea time. So I'm like, well, why doesn't she join us for tea? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Come on. Come on. Yeah, come say hi to everybody. Say hi. 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 Oh, you can't have my treats. No, those are chocolate. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have something for you, Freya. It's a bone. It's a bone. Yeah. There you go. So, just gave her bone. It's got like some kind of filling in it or something, but she loves that thing. But now she's probably gonna hide. You know, she's behind me. All right. So just wanted you to meet her. But anyway, see, Mark is here, Fun Edits is here, and Ocean Liners is here. Hello. I've got a whole tray set up here for tea. I'm trying to keep it pushed back away from the counter because otherwise the puppy will try to jump up on the counter and steal my food and snacks and stuff, so... yeah, so how is everybody? Oh, the chat is not keeping up with... Let's see. Let's Build, how's it going? Let's Build says, sorry missed so many streams. That's okay. I haven't... I don't hold it against people because, you know, everybody's busy. Brian asks, are you doing anything special to celebrate Independence Day? With my family, no, but I do think that I might do a special live stream. What is it, tomorrow? Yeah, I think it's tomorrow. Do a special live stream tomorrow, because every year, as kind of like a personal tradition, is for me to watch America Sings every year, so that's what I plan to do. Live streaming tomorrow, I think. I have to schedule it so everybody knows. Yes, Ozzy says Alex has a new friend. Hey Sarah, how's it going? Hello Robert. Hey Shiloh, how's it going? Gray Starline. Oh no, Sarah, you have COVID. Well, I hope you get better soon. Yeah, at least you have something to watch. Yeah, so Freya is looking out the window right now. She loves to look out the window. Chilling. Yes, her name is Freya, as in the Norse god of love. Yes. Let's see here. Tyler says, just had chicken marsala. Have you seen cartoon Batman? No, I haven't. Alright, let's see. Taylor says, are you still making the oceanic video? Yes, I am. But some things lined up before that, so I'm still working on those. Time to heat up or preheat these things. So, half empty. Yeah, after the tea time live stream, then my sister will be back at her house, so then I'll be taking Freya back home. Let's see. Empty out half of that. She's a curious little puppy. Always wants to know what I'm doing. Aren't you curious? Alright, so I'll just let that warm up. Hi. Hi. Say hello to everybody. Everybody wants to see you. Yeah. You don't want your bone anymore? I put it over there. Yeah. Go get it. Go get it. Nah, she wants what I'm having. She can't have what I'm having. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Yeah. Yeah, chew on that. Crunch, crunch. Good girl. Let's see. So, yeah. So the next video that's coming out is gonna be about what is it? My brain is all over the place. What is the next video I was just working on? Oh, so the next video, which is going to be Tuesday, is going to be about Queen Mary's maids and valets dining room. It'll be really interesting. And then Wednesday is tea time. Friday is going to be about a train wreck that happened in Paris in 1895. And then after that should be the oceanic video at some point. But I'm also working on a Pirates of the Caribbean video, and then I'm going to be doing something special for Disneyland's anniversary this month. So there's a lot going on. Let's see. Oh, Cunard White Star Line, you have the flu. Oh my gosh, everybody's getting sick. Brian asks, how old is Freya? Freya is almost 2 years old. Yeah. Aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah, my sister adopted her when she was just a little puppy. She was rescued. She was like, I don't know how she ended up in a kill shelter in Texas. And the shelter where we live here up near Portland, they rescue dogs from kill shelters, and she was one of the puppies that was rescued from a kill shelter and brought up here, and my sister adopted her. So yeah, that was back in 2021, January 2021, but she was already a few months old by then. So yeah, she's almost 2. Let's see. Taylor says, what scale is your Titanic model in the back there? The scale is 1/350th scale. I want to get a Queen Mary model of the same size, but nobody has one that's been made in the last 40 years. And so, yeah. Oh, awesome. Fun Edits is getting his 3D printed Queen Mary model. Nice. RailFan says, hey, Alex, just hopping in. Did I miss anything? Well, I was introducing my little furry niece over here who's staring out the window. She's much too busy for us. Oceanliner says, where was RMS Caronia Lancastria launched? In Glasgow, but off the top of my head, I forget what... Oh, there's another dog outside. Off the top of my head, I forget what builder it is, but I said it in my video, but But yeah, it was launched in Glasgow. Oceaner says, why don't people remember Titanic sinking, but 9/11 they do? People do remember Titanic sinking. Everybody knows Titanic. Okay, so time to... You can keep doing what you're doing. Let's see. It's time to start brewing tea, so... have to empty this thing out. So for those that are new, and I say this almost every stream, yeah, you can't have what I'm having. It's not good for puppies. It's barely good for humans. It's probably not even good for humans. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the tea set I'm using is a authentic Cunard tea set that was used by the company on ships like RMS Queen Mary and RMS Queen Elizabeth. And after Queen Mary retired, they never made tea sets like it again. Okay, just making sure that this one is the one that has the tea in it. So after Queen Mary retired, they never made tea sets with this style again because they knew that Queen Elizabeth would retire soon after. So today, in case you want to know, is English breakfast tea. Yeah. There we go. And what's the time? 4:12, so 5 minutes. 4:17 is when I'll do that. What do you got there? Oh, it's a twist tie. I can't have you eating twist ties. Okay. Where'd you go? Here. Well, she can have it when she wants it. Alright. So yeah, 4:17, good. So, yeah, they have a similar design on Queen Mary too, but it's not 100% the same. Let's see, try to move this closer here. Yeah, there you go. Take it. She wants to go home, and I can't take her home yet because there's nobody there. There's nobody at home yet. So, for those just joining, this is Freya. She's my sister's puppy, and I'm puppy sitting for just a few hours while my sister is out and about. So, she was having fun the first couple hours, but now my apartment's boring to her, apparently. So, she wants to go home. But that's okay. After tea time, it will be time for her to go. So she just has to wait a little bit longer. Oceanliner says, did you know Cunard had a RMS Cynthia? Yes, I did, in fact. I don't know much about Cynthia, but I've heard of the name. RailFan says, I can try and send a photo of Queen Mary from a plane. Do you know how I can do it? If it's digital, you can send it to me by my email. My email is linked in the description below. Let's see. Ozzy says, don't burn your fingers, Alex. It's it's probably gonna happen, honestly. It's probably gonna happen. Haley says, did you hear that Splash Mountain's re-theme name will be called Tiana's Bayou Adventure? Yeah, I thought it was kind of a boring name. You know, like, it's such a boring name. And I think someone pointed out that, like, There's a lot of Disney rides that have the word adventure in it. It's such a boring name. They should have come up with something more interesting. Brocky says, yeah, time in a new place. Time in a new place? I think, well, because my camera's pointed in a different direction. Yeah. It's pointed this way because, well, I wanted you to be able to see Freya as she kind of frolics around the living room. So, you know, when I first got this apartment, one of the things I really wanted to do, one more minute on the tea. One of the things I really wanted to do was I wanted to decorate the apartment to look like, because it's a small studio apartment. I wanted to decorate it to look like a stateroom aboard Queen Mary, for instance. You know, just some minor touches here and there. But one of the key things was the paint scheme of the apartment, because my last apartment in this complex had a darker paint scheme. It looked almost like wood, and it looked really kind of cool with the right set of lights and everything. But yeah, and then when I was getting this apartment, I just ran out of money, so I didn't have the money to to buy or make the decorations that would have made it look more like a stateroom. So I had to completely give up on that idea, but it was something I wanted to do a lot. So, all right, it is time for tea. So, time to empty this thing out. Oh, wow, that's really hot. Careful, Freya. I don't want you to burn yourself. Just like I burned myself. Okay, I give that a little bit of a stir, so that way all the tea is nicely incorporated. Okay. Then I can place the lid back on. Alrighty. I had to lower the music that I usually have on the live stream because I keep getting like copyright strikes. And since I'm not running the trains today, the train set isn't making a lot of noise, so the music comes out even clearer, which just guarantees I have copyright strikes. So all right. Oh, my stream is once again not keeping up with... Okay, there we go. Thomas says, I saw Queen Mary 2 when I was in New York a few weeks ago. Oh, nice. I really, really want to take a voyage on that ship. Oh, that's hot. Just singed all the little taste buds off my tongue. Oh my gosh. Funheaded says, do you know this ship called Majestic? It's from White Star Line, and it's similar to the Queen Mary. I know about Majestic, but I don't know anything about it that would make it similar to Queen Mary. But I do know about Majestic. Scudster says, you could get a waterfall-style bedroom setting in a pale wood. Perhaps give it the look. Yeah. Waterfall-style bedroom setting. Waterfall... I don't know what that is. A waterfall-style? But I know pale wood, like a paneling, I'm guessing. I would do that, if I had the money. And now there's talk that I might have to move again, but we'll see how that goes. Oh, she's so cute. That's interesting that from this angle you can't see her, but she's literally like lying right there. I feel like she should be on camera. Oh, the microphone's covering her face. That's why. She's tired. Haley says, I feel like when the theme is finished, people will still call it Splash Mountain. You know, they might, honestly. It's such an easy name, you know. It's easy to remember, and, you know, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's a short name, but it's not exact. It doesn't have a ring to it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have a ring to it. Oliver says, hey guys, I just joined. What did I miss? Not much. The tea is ready to consume. I don't have any sandwiches or anything today because, frankly, if I'm eating too much, Freya will just beg for the food the entire time. So, but yeah. Cunard says, I think some of the interiors on, it says AM2, but I think he meant Queen Mary 2, were inspired by the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. Yes, indeed. It's a Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth were a heavy inspiration for the Queen Mary 2. True WC asks, is the tea kit from Queen Mary? Indeed, yes. So, so all of this is from the Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth. I didn't buy it all at once, so it's not like all of it is from one ship. It's from various Cunard ships of the era. So, like I was saying a few minutes ago, this style, this Art Deco style of the tea set, they stopped producing it the year that Queen Mary was retired. And the ship retired in 1967, so that's when they stopped producing this style of tea set, because that's when they started producing a different style for the preparation of QE2's launch, or service, I should say. Preparation of QE2's service. So, yeah, so even the newest piece that I own, and this isn't even all of it, I put the rest behind the camera because I couldn't fit it all on the tray. I normally display it all on a tray, and you guys see it every week, the tray, and it's got all the stuff on it. But I only put what I need here for today, plus a little extra. So, like, this is the waste dish. That would be, like, for spent tea bags, like if you're having Earl Grey and you're having it with a slice of lemon, and you don't need the lemon anymore, then you might put the slice of lemon in the waste dish. So that's what a waste dish is for. This is a hot water pitcher. It could also be used as an extra large creamer. I mean, they usually gave people these small creamers, and this one, even if I filled it all the way, it would need to be like 3 people for us to use up all that milk. So I never even fill it at all. I just put a little bit. This is the sugar bowl, as you might have guessed, because I use it for sugar. This is an example of a teapot. Very cool. One of the things I like about it is its cube shape. So, and all of it is authentic china. And, yeah, all of it was made in different years, though. If you look on the bottoms of each item, it has like a different year put on it. So it's definitely a mix match, but it's most certainly all stuff that would have been on Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. I think one of the teapots I got, because I have 2, one of them is a cracked teapot, but the other one is perfectly intact. One of the teapots had a label in it that said, from Queen Elizabeth. And I still have the label somewhere. I didn't throw it away. it's not an official label. It's like somebody who owned it wrote it down so that way they didn't forget. But yeah, so pretty neat. And as I always tell people, it's got the items have, well, you can't really see too well because the light is so blown out. But there's 3 stripes. So there's a gray stripe and 2 orange stripes, and it represents the sun setting over the gray waters of the North Atlantic, according to an article I read. So, so today the tea is English breakfast tea. It's Twinings. I usually do Twinings because their teas are really good. And for those that are joining, that's my niece, Freya. Yeah. Please don't eat my carpet. Yeah, that's what you have toys for. You can eat your toys. Yeah. Oh, she's so cute. She's like a pit bull mix. I forget the other. She's like half pit bull, half something else, and I forget what the other thing is. But she's got like a brindle color to her. So for those of you who don't know what brindle is, it's like a tiger striping of dark brown and light brown. She's really pretty. She's a pretty puppy. Yeah, she's a pretty puppy. Yeah. And she wants to go home, but I'm babysitting her for the next hour. Yeah, I'm babysitting you for the next hour, you big baby. You big baby. She is a big baby. She's a big baby. Let's see. What? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Oh, yeah. Gosh, you know, she should be napping by now, but she hasn't napped in the several hours she's been here. She's too excited. She's too excited to nap, but she is tired. I can tell that she's tired. Aren't you sleepy? Don't you want to take a nap? A nappy poo? No, I guess not. Now, Ivan, this is my sister's puppy. I'm just babysitting her for a couple hours. Yeah. You big baby. You big baby. Alright, so Robert says, hard to believe that Queen Mary was going to have a stern like Titanic. Nice that they went with what it got. Yeah, the cruiser stern is what Queen Mary eventually got. But yeah, in 1929 they were thinking of a clipper stern, much like Titanic. You can't have tea. You can't have tea. I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what. I can give you a treat. Yeah, I can give you a treat. You can't have my stuff. You can't have it. Here. Okay. Okay, can you lay down? Lay down? Yeah? Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. She's so good. I love her. She's the sweetest dog. Let's see. Haley says, how do you feel about Bob Chapek's contract getting renewed for 3 years? You know, he hasn't been my favorite CEO for Disney. I think whether you're on one side of the spectrum or the other, most people don't like him. So, Kit Bishop says, what is a ship you like, but not many people know about? Oh boy. It's hard to say because the thing is that I'm still new to ocean liners. So most ocean liner enthusiasts know about more ships than I do. So if I say a name that I think most people might not know about, I think that a whole bunch of ocean liner enthusiasts would be like, "Oh, everybody knows that ship," you know. Um, But I guess one ship I really admire is the SS Princess Louise, which was a ship for the Canadian Pacific Line, and it ran between Vancouver, British Columbia, and Skagway, Alaska. It was a beautiful ship. I think it was launched in 1921, if I remember correctly. I have a video about it. It's called the tragic sinking of Princess Louise. Hi. Yeah, you're very cute. Yeah, you're so adorable. She's like rolling around the floor on her back. She's like such a little like puppy, even though she's like ginormous. Yeah. So yeah, SS Princess Louise is one of my favorites. I never got to see it before it sank. I wasn't even born yet, I don't think. I think it sank in 1990, so... Kit says your dog is so cute, by the way. Thank you. And she's my sister's puppy. So she's my niece. She's my niece. Little furry niece. I don't know how she has so much energy. We did nothing but take walks and walks and walks today. And then I let her run around the dog park. So she literally ran all her energy out. But it's because she's in my house. She's not used to it. So she's still super excited and she can't take a nap. Vivid Racer says, what is your favorite era of ship? Ooh. It would have to be the Edwardian era. Yeah. The Edwardian era had some wonderful ships. Most of my favorite ships, like I say most, are in the late Victorian, early Edwardian era. So Oceanic 2, which was built in 1899. Lusitania, Mauretania. I do like Olympic a lot. What other ship? Carpathia. Why am I drawing a blank? There's like SS Keewatin, which I think, if I remember correctly, was built in 1907, same year as Lusitania, Mauretania. SS Keewatin, though, is an ocean liner. I mean, you can't really call it an ocean because it's on the Great Lakes, but it's a lake liner. Still exists. Oh, gosh, I'm just drawing a blank on most of the ships I would normally talk about. But yeah, I would say late Victorian, early Edwardian era for ships. Yeah, 1910 was SS France. Yeah, SS France, 1910. I think that's a beautiful ship. And then in 1916 was SS Paris. So it's not technically Edwardian, but it is that same kind of era. Let's see. Oliver says, I have 2 dogs, an 11-year-old and a 1-year-old. Oh my gosh, talk about opposite sides of the... energy spectrum. John says, one of my dogs thinks that he needs my coffee and tries to drink from my cup. Kit says, what is your favorite Canadian Pacific steamship line? Mine is Empress of Britain. It was a gorgeous 3-funneled ship. Oh gosh, my favorite Canadian Pacific steamship. You know, I was reading up on Empress of Britain, and I don't recall too much off the top of my head, but I thought it was really interesting what I read. So I'm going to have to say either Empress of Britain or Princess Louise. Of course, that I will admit that's based off of my very limited knowledge of other steamship lines, because I'm so new to ocean liners, so I'm still learning a lot of stuff. Fun Edit says, what's your favorite ocean liner company? Cunard. Cunard is my favorite ocean liner company. El Nino says, new flat or just new camera angle? New camera angle because I'm joined by my sister's puppy. I'm babysitting her for today. So she's been running around on camera and off camera. So I have it angled this way so you guys can see her run around when she does. I think she's just sitting by the window right now, just kind of looking out. Derpy says, Keewatin is definitely one of my favorite preserved ships. She has such a Lusitania-esque feeling to it. Oh, yeah. Keewatin definitely seems like it would be Lusitania. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler says, for your Queen Mary 2 fund, I won't be able to do this in December due to my birthday and Christmas. Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, I've been earning a bit more money than usual lately, so I'm hoping I can use that to put towards my savings for the Queen Mary 2 fund. I have money saved up also, currently, for me to be able to visit the original RMS Queen Mary when she reopens, which where everybody thinking is around October 1st. So, if it is October 1st, I have the money ready to go down there, stay a few days. Yeah. So, History with Swag says, hey Alex. Hello. Steve A says, when will you be back at Disneyland? So, when the Queen Mary does reopen, which I think will be October 1st, I'm going down to Southern California to visit for a few days. And when I do that, I might spend one day at Disneyland with my friends. One day, just one. Disneyland is not fun for me anymore, basically. It's just a very big hassle. Even now, I'm kind of not looking forward to all the planning I'll have to do for that day when I go there. It's just a huge headache. But I will be there for one day with my friends just because, you know, a bunch of us really want to hang out. We haven't seen each other. Like, some of my friends, I haven't seen them in 2 years. A little bit more. Yeah, a little bit over 2 years. So, you know, it's going to be a big emotional thing for me to see my friends again. But yeah, I don't know that I'm going to do a meetup at Disneyland. But what I do want to do is I want to do a meetup at the Queen Mary. So, for one thing, Queen Mary is a lot cheaper to get in than Disneyland. So if anybody wants to meet me on Queen Mary and you know, and walk around with me, and, you know, we'll learn some things together about the ship, we'll share some knowledge and stuff, then we can do that. I will have to schedule everything out still, so I'll have to get back to everybody on my channel as to when I can do that and what day. But yeah, I want to schedule like a meetup for me to meet a bunch of people who watch my channel. Oliver says, I visited the Titanic Museum in Belfast 3 months ago. It's a good place to visit, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't been. Yeah, that one's definitely on my itinerary list for when me and my friend go to the UK, because we're going to take a trip aboard the Queen Mary 2, eventually when I have money. And then we're going to be going to very specific cities in the UK, and one of them is Belfast, to see a bunch of Titanic stuff. The professor says, nice gaming keyboard you have there. Thank you. It's actually really old. Well, what's funny was, I replaced this one because it has a few broken keys. I replaced this one with a new one. The new one lasted me like maybe 3 months. And it lasted just long enough that the warranty expired. And I couldn't replace it. And so I just ended up bringing this old one back out and using that instead. Hi. What do you want? Are you bored? Do you want to go home? We'll go home after. Just 20 more minutes, okay? Give me 20 minutes. That's where you count the 2 on one hand and a 0 on the other. Yes, that's right. 20 minutes. Yeah. She's so funny. Daniel says, are there any other preserved ocean liners other than Queen Mary and SS United States? Oh, yeah. SS Keewatin is one of them. Again, you can't say ocean liner exactly because it didn't sail on the ocean, but the Great Lakes are like an ocean. They have the terrible storms just like an ocean would. So they were built like ocean liners. So SS Keewatin is still around. Let's see. There's SS Rotterdam, which I think is near Amsterdam. There's the Hikawa Maru, which is in Japan. There's the QE2. The QE2 has been saved from being scrapped, and she's currently a very successful hotel and tourist attraction in Dubai. And there's more. There's a lot more. I just don't recall all the other lesser known ones that are still around. But there's a lot of them. Steve says, I agree on Disneyland. I've only been at Downtown Disney for dinner. The whole reservation system seems like a hassle. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I was still living in California just prior to the pandemic, I was still willing to renew my annual pass for Disneyland. But after I moved up here and during that time that Disneyland was closed, and then the company decided to get rid of annual passes altogether and do this whole different thing, and I was just like, it's not worth me getting another pass of any kind. It's not worth it anymore. So, yeah, 15 more minutes. Let's see. Derpy says the Queen Mary Hotel might have had some questionable management in the past, but at least they don't charge $100 for a soda. That is really... You want to know something awful, you guys? As a former employee of Disneyland, Disneyland receives free Coca-Cola from the Coca-Cola Company because they've been a customer of Coca-Cola's for so many decades. They've helped earn the Coca-Cola Company so much money and so much promotion over the decades that Coca-Cola gives them the Coca-Cola for free. Not the Sprite, not the root beer, not anything else. They give them the Coca-Cola for free. But you'd think that would mean that maybe if you bought a Coke at Disneyland, that it would be cheaper. It's not. It's still the same price. When I left Disney, the price was something like $4 $4.50 for a large soda, which is pretty expensive. But today I think it's even more. I think today it's closer to $6.50 for a large soda. But I forget. But yeah, it's crazy. And you're spending that on something that they're getting for free. So besides the price of buying the paper cup, they're pretty much getting 100% back off of your purchase of a Coca-Cola. It's ridiculous. Now, if you're buying a bottled Coca-Cola, that's different. Disney still has to pay for getting those. But if you're buying, like, from a soda fountain, they're earning, like, almost 100% of that money back. Because they never paid anything for the Coca-Cola. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. NSSR RailFan says, check your email. I'll have to do that after the live stream. I can't do it on the live stream. Brian says, she just wants your attention. Yeah, I know. She wants my attention. She thinks it's weird because I don't think she's used to me. She's never been on one of my live streams before. So she's weirded out that I'm talking to nobody. She's like, what are you doing? You know? Honestly, my neighbors probably think the same thing. They can probably hear me talking and be like, what is he doing? Is he on the phone? Stormworks, interesting. I'll give it a look over, the Stormworks game. Fun Edit says, what's the most popular ocean liner in the world? Now, that's a really complex question because you'd have to be more specific. The most popular ocean liner in the world as in ever existed, or as in currently existing? You know, it's hard to say. And then if you say ocean liner in the past, like what year, you know? So I don't know. You have to be more specific with that, but hey Alex, what if I do a drawing tans next to the Queen Mary? Oh, or you mean like a drawing? Drawing what next to the Queen Mary? Drawing stand? I don't know. I think whatever you do next to Queen Mary probably needs approval from the city. Oliver says, I know military stuff isn't really your style, but if you're going to the UK, I'd also recommend the Portsmouth Historic Dockyard. I don't think we'll have time to be able to go down to Portsmouth, but I do know we're going to be visiting the HMS Victory in Southampton. We're also going to see the HMS Belfast in London. Any other military vessel? I don't think so, but there's a slight chance that we might end up going to see the the Royal Yacht Britannia, if we have the time and if we have the resources. So that's what we might do. Daniel says, would people who wanted to travel by ocean liners need to go to the docks by train? Many people did. Some people took taxis. Some people drove there. Some people took a bus. But yeah, a train was one of the main ways that people got there, especially if you were in the UK going to the Southampton docks. Then a lot of people would actually board around London, and then the train would take them from London to Southampton, and then they would get off near the Southampton docks. There was a specific train for that. It was called the Cunard. Very beautiful train. They don't have it anymore, but Cunard White Star says, you should have a look at the Aberdeen and Commonwealth line. It is an interesting shipping company. They did trips from England to Australia. My grandfather came to Australia on the SS Mauretania. Oh, interesting. Okay. SS Moreton Bay. Okay, SS Moreton Bay. I've heard of Moreton Bay, actually. Fun Edit says, most popular ocean liner currently existing. There's only one, well, when you say currently existing. Do you mean like in service? Because there's only one in service. The only ocean liner in service that's left is Queen Mary 2. But in existence today, which would include museum ships like Queen Mary, QE2, I would say if you're talking about the museum ships included, I'd say the most popular ocean liner in existence today would be the original Queen Mary. You know, the original Queen Mary gets visited by approximately, 3 to 3.5 million people a year. It's very well known by locals. And then for those folks who are who've been around long enough to remember the Queen Mary in service, she was the most popular ocean liner in the world when she retired in 1967. And, ocean liner popularity comes in and out, as new ships launch, the popularity changes. So, but Queen Mary was the most famous ocean liner when she retired, and even long after she retired. Popular, though, hard to say, because when she retired, there was other really popular ships like SS France and, SS United States. So, puppy dog. She's just sitting here, waiting for me to react. Poor puppy. She's not the center of attention today. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, so. Yeah. You're so sweet. Don't worry, you get to go home soon. Let's see. Oh, Freya, don't go there. No. No. Come back this way. Good girl. Thank you. Thank you. So nosy. So nosy. Jay Robinson says, "Hi Alex, I know you're new to your channel. I've watched a couple of your live streams, and I gotta say, you're very British and would fit right in. Sorry, it's hard for me to read from this little screen. You're very British and would fit right in over here." Jay from Manchester. Awesome, thanks. Yeah, on my mom's side of the family, our family can be traced back to England and North Ireland. I think one of our family members was Scottish and another family member was Welsh. We're all over the place when it comes to the UK. So that's on my mom's side. So, and my mom was always obsessed with her Anglican history, her ancestry. And she went and visited the UK at one time, I think for her honeymoon. She visited the UK. And so, yeah, it's always, the UK has always been something that's kind of been in the back of my mind. And as I became a huge fan of ocean liners, especially the RMS Queen Mary, it reminded me of all of that. It reminded me of my roots. So yeah. And of course, tea. The funny thing about the tea, though, is I grew up as a coffee drinker. I always drink coffee. It's just an American thing. My family, some of my family is from the deep south. They have sweet tea and stuff like that, but they don't have tea like this, But I was looking for something that would give me a pick-me-up that wasn't as caffeinated as coffee, because now I'm getting older, coffee just doesn't, it makes me feel weird. I get too jittery. I get heart palpitations drinking coffee. So I needed something that woke me up but wasn't so strong. And so I finally just started doing, black tea and having it as authentically as possible, the British way. And it's now my favorite thing. Now I have 8 different types of tea in my cupboard. So So yeah. So thank you. I take that as a very good compliment. Cunard White Star Line says, "Are you also going to see where the Queen Mary set from Southampton?" I could try to look it up to see exactly where the old Cunard dock was, and then see if I can find it there. It's easier, I think. I mean, well, easier for me, I think, to find the Cunard dock that was in New York, because the Cunard dock in New York is technically still there, but it's a whole new dock. They use it for cruise ships. But it was Pier 90 was where Queen Mary would berth at. And so it's easier for me to find in New York, but I'd have to do some more digging to find it in Southampton. Chilling says, "Alex, will this upcoming trip be your first on the Queen Mary 2? Oh yeah, it'll be my first ever in the open ocean, to be honest. I think the deepest water I was ever in was I was on a ferry crossing from Seattle over the Puget Sound to Bainbridge Island when I was a kid. That was like the deepest water, honestly, and that's not really that deep compared to the ocean. So, not even the same ocean conditions either. So yeah, it would be my first time on the ocean, my first time on a honest-to-goodness ship. And yeah, it would be a lot of firsts for me. So, yeah. If you guys would like to help me achieve my goal of getting on the Queen Mary 2 a lot sooner, so you guys can get more video content from the UK, from the ship, like lots of videos are planned to be filmed on that whole trip. Hundreds of videos are planned to be made from that trip. So if you'd like that to happen a lot sooner, then you can help donate to it by going to my GoFundMe page, and the link is in the description below, as well as a video talking about the plans. And if you go to the GoFundMe page, there's also a breakdown of the costs, so that way you know what it is. But yeah, Tom Katz says, HMS Victory is in Portsmouth, not Southampton. Really? Why did I think it was in Southampton? Oh, that's weird. For some reason, I don't know why, I thought it was in Southampton. So, well, that kind of puts a damper on things, because my friend and I were looking for things to do in Southampton that is related to history. But, yeah. Derpy asks, what's the most beautiful library you've seen or heard of? Oh, that's a very specific question. I haven't been to many of them. I buy books, I read lots of books, but I never step foot in libraries. I just never have a reason to. I don't know. I did see a video about one that opened in Dubai recently. The Dubai library looks really nice, and it's brand new, and the library is shaped like a book. So, the outside is a bit garish in that way, but the inside is beautiful. Also, the library aboard Queen Mary 2, that's one I'm looking forward to seeing. That looks like a beautiful library. Absolutely beautiful, with quilted maple and everything all over. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Swag says, hey Alex, could you do a video on where you are comfortable on Queen Mary 2? Oh, when you are comfortable. Oh, yeah. Like videos of me on board. Yeah. That's the whole plan. Is the whole trip is not about a vacation. The whole trip is actually about filming everything we possibly can film. Well, I can possibly film. So, my intention is definitely to film the whole trip on the Queen Mary 2, not just a vlog, but also extra footage that I can use for a documentary about the ship, as well as creating reviews of the different foods and restaurants I eat at, reviews of my experience on the ship, just all kinds of stuff. I mean, we plan to go both ways. So, we'd go to the UK. It'd be a 7 to 8 day journey, and then on the way back, another 7 to 8 day journey. So there would be a lot of stuff to film on the Queen Mary too. It'll probably be a once in a lifetime experience for me, so I definitely don't want to miss anything. That's okay, Fun Edits. Derpy says, does Queen Mary 2 ever dock at Pier 90? Because it would be really cool to end a westbound transatlantic voyage in actual Manhattan instead of Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Well, I know when Queen Mary 2 was first put into service, they still had a dock somewhere in Manhattan along the Hudson. I don't remember where. I don't think it was Pier 90. Because Pier 90 is certainly not big enough anymore for a ship the size of Queen Mary 2. But it was in Manhattan. But now today, Queen Mary 2 docks in Brooklyn, of all places, at a very nondescript location in Brooklyn, too. That's the funny thing. So, but yeah, they used to. Up until recently, they used to. Conrad is here. Hey, Conrad, you missed it. I was introducing everybody to Freya, who is now asleep by the door, staring out the window. Oliver says Titanic and Queen Mary both departed from Southampton, if that helps. Yes, they did. They did, but the question is where exactly? It wasn't the same terminal. It would have been two different terminals. And the terminals probably would have changed over the years. They probably would have built over the old terminals and built new land or something over the new ones. So, I don't know. It would have been... I'd have to do some more digging. Tom says, Queen Mary 2 has a really nice ballroom. I've heard about that, yeah. I'm actually excited to see that. Pookie says, I've been dying for your QE2 video, actually dying. I'm currently painting the QE2 as I'm watching this. Oh, awesome. Yeah, the QE2 video is probably going to take a while. It most certainly will not be this month, because I've got a lot of videos planned for this month that I have to try to, crack down and get those finished. Oliver says it's gone 2 a.m. here in Spain, so I better go. See you next time. All right, see you later, Oliver. Donald says, anyone done within a 24-hour COVID test of Southampton departure for Cunard, leaving on trip 11 days worried? Yeah, I heard they do require a 24-hour COVID test. Goofy Roll says the storms will be fun. Yeah, I think... Well, my friend Chris, he really wants to go during the stormy season because he wants to see the Queen Mary 2 battling those storms. And frankly, I'm a bit curious too to see what that would be like. It's almost like the thrill ride of of your life, Let's just hope that it doesn't end badly. Robert says, dog is asleep. Keep the stream going. She might be. Oh, I think I just woke her up. She might be. We'll see. Bedrock Noob says, randomly found this. What is Cunard afternoon tea? So basically, this is a tea set that was on the RMS Queen Mary, RMS Queen Elizabeth, stuff like that. So Cunard line had this tea set for all their ships and stuff at the time. The last time that this particular style was produced was in 1967. So the newest piece I have is from 1967, but the oldest piece I have is from 1952. But they first introduced this style aboard the Queen Mary. This style is a lot of people describe it as an Art Deco style, and it showed up on the Queen Mary in 1936. And although back then they had a different look, it was a bit more ivory colored as opposed to the brilliant white that you see here. So that's how you know whether one is from Cunard White Star versus one is from Cunard Line. So Cunard White Star had the ivory colored ones, but yeah. So some of this stuff was used on Queen Mary, some of it was used on Queen Elizabeth, and this live stream is different than all the other live streams I've done because I am puppy sitting today for my sister. So I have a puppy here, and I couldn't set up like I normally set up, but I usually have like, I usually have, well, I ate all my treats, so I usually have these McVitie's digestives, which is a type of tea biscuit that people normally have in England and such. I also make homemade Scottish shortbread to have with my tea, so I ate that too. And then I usually have some kind of British tea. I usually choose Twinings tea because it's just, to me, it tastes really good. So today was English breakfast tea, but some of my favorites are Earl Grey and stuff. So I have all kinds of teas in the cupboard. And so we just kind of, normally what we do is we just sit here and chat. We just talk about, ships, we talk about trains, we talk about Disneyland, we talk about all the stuff that is basically featured on my channel. And we just sit here and have tea. And some of the folks who watch the tea time, they will have tea themselves. So they'll sit down to this live stream and they'll have tea at their home. And so it's kind of just a way for me to connect with, all the nerds who like to watch my videos. So that's kind of what we do. And we just talk and stuff. So sometimes if it's cool enough in the apartment, I'll wear like a nice jacket or blazer, as we might call it in the United States. But for days like today where I'm puppy sitting, I didn't want to get it dirty because I know her paws get muddy when she runs around outside, so I didn't want to get my blazer dirty. But yeah, so that's kind of what we do during these tea times. And I'm already an hour in. I will have to finish this soon so that way I can take her back home because she is homesick. So, Harrison says, happy July 4th. Yes, happy July 4th to you too. Yeah, tomorrow will be interesting. Conrad says, that's a pretty big puppy. Yeah, she is a very big puppy. She's almost 2 years old, and she's huge. She's, I think last time we weighed her, she was 70 pounds. She's huge. Huge dog. Jeffrey says, hi Alex, are you still painting? I haven't had the time to paint, unfortunately. Goofy says, afternoon tea is one of life's great pleasures. I'm so glad I've experienced it. It really is. It's funny because, so what I do on YouTube, I make all these videos. It is like a full-time job. The minute I wake up, I'm doing research. When I go to sleep at night, or basically just a few hours from going to sleep is when I finish working on something for the channel. So it takes all day to do. And I usually take a break in the middle of the day to just relax. I'll like have some lunch or something and I'll watch TV or something, and then I'll get back to work afterwards. Well, when I first moved into this apartment, I thought, well, now I have all this space and all this time to myself. I thought, why don't I do something fun and I'll do afternoon teas. And it's great because it's at 4 p.m. on Sundays and Wednesdays. I can sit here and just chat with a bunch of people about like topics that I really like, and just have an actual like honest to goodness like British tea time. And I can, I often tell people that, because I have the Cunard set, I can pretend like I'm on the Queen Mary or something out in the ocean just having tea. Of course, they had much fancier desserts and treats than I can produce for a single tea time. But it is still fun to have at least some traditional cheap British treats, stuff like that. So I usually make like a sandwich too. Like my favorite one is a cucumber sandwich for tea, but I'll have to buy the ingredients later this week. I don't have the ingredients with me today. So Tyler says there was a ship that sank in 14 minutes. Oh, I believe it. There's some ships that have sunk in 5 minutes. But yeah. Bedrock says, how many watertight compartments does Queen Mary 2 and Queen Elizabeth 2 have? Oh, I don't know. If anybody knows the answer to that, I would love to know. But I can't find that information. I've tried. I've scoured the internet for months looking for information on what is below those decks. I want to know what the engineering spaces look like, how they're organized. I can't find anything on it, honestly. Conrad says, I admit I'm a nerd. Good, good. As long as none of us are pretending. Fun Edit says, it's about to be 4th of July in 4 hours. Wow. Yeah, I might do a live stream tomorrow for 4th of July. Usually every year by myself, I have this little tradition of I watch a recording of the Tomorrowland attraction America Sings, which was at Disneyland. And so there's a recording online of it. It's like 20 minutes long or something like that. And I usually watch it. And last year I thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool to do it live. So I did a live stream so people could watch it with me. And I might do that again tomorrow if I have time. Because that'd be kind of fun to do, you know. Something to just kind of celebrate July 4th. For those that want to know why America Sings, why a Disney attraction, America Sings was specifically created for the celebration of the United States' bicentennial in 1976. It opened in 1974, 2 years ahead of time, but it was designed for the 1976 bicentennial. And so it was a show that was as American as it comes. But it was a fun show. It was a really fun show. And they got rid of it back in the 80s, but it's still cool to watch the video of it. It's a really fun show. Keanu White Smiling says, apparently the Queen Mary uses gas turbines. Those are for emergencies, basically. So the Queen Mary 2 does use gas turbines for emergencies, but their main source of propulsion are four diesel electric systems. So it's 4 engines that are 16-cylinder, I believe, 16-cylinder diesel electric engines. And then if they need an extra boost of power, or let's say the power goes out and they need emergency power, then the gas turbines can activate. And the gas turbines are closer to the top of the ship. Now, the original RMS Queen Mary, which is in Long Beach, didn't use gas turbines. It used steam turbines. And so that one, they produced steam in the 24 Yarrow boilers the ship produced at approximately 450 pounds per square inch of pressure, which drove the 4 separate sets of engines. In each one of Queen Mary's engines were 4 turbines, steam turbines. There was a high pressure, an intermediate pressure, a second intermediate pressure, and a low pressure. And I believe it was the first intermediate pressure and the low pressure turbine that could reverse. So each engine could use 2 turbines that reverse if the ship needed to reverse. Let's see. Celti says, Empress of Ireland sank in 14 minutes, if I recall. Lusitania in 16. Dirtby says, favorite historical architectural style. Architectural interior style and exterior, Art Deco is my favorite. Particularly British Art Deco, but American Art Deco looks pretty cool too. French Art Deco is sometimes nice, but I'm not as big a fan of French Art Deco as I am British and American Art Deco style. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. So, let's see. Fun Edit says, what if Queen Mary 2 hit an iceberg? Would it sink or float? I wish I knew. I honestly, I don't know what's underneath the ship. Like, I've tried looking for it for a couple of years. I can't find any information besides the type of engines the ship uses. I don't know how the ship is organized down there. I don't know how it was constructed exactly. I know it was constructed similarly to a cruise ship in the sense that they built it section by section and then welded all the sections together. But I don't know how it was, how the watertight features on the Queen Mary 2 work, and like I don't know any of that stuff. So I wish I could answer that question, but I honestly don't know. Celty says Cunard, it's U.S. Independence Day. Oh, yeah. Cunard White Star Line says, I'm from Australia. Can someone please explain to me what 4th of July is? It is the Independence Day of the United States. So it's the day we celebrate for when the United States became independent from Great Britain, basically. That we celebrated on that day, not because that's literally the day we became independent, but because that's the day that our Declaration of Independence was signed. And then it was signed, and then there were like a few copies made, and one of them was sent to, was it King James or King Charles? Who was the king at the time? I forget. But yeah, so it's the day that we celebrate independence, and in the United States, it's a huge day in the United States. Like, I don't know if it is in other countries where everyone really celebrates Independence Day, but in the United States, we celebrate it like crazy. Everybody buys fireworks. Everybody has a cookout. They barbecue. They go places. They travel. It's crazy. When I lived in Orange County, California, Southern California, where Disneyland is, the whole county that night, on 4th of July night, would be smoky because everybody was firing off fireworks, even the illegal fireworks. And so that's one of the things I didn't like about living in Orange County was every 4th of July, for a whole week leading up to 4th of July, people were lighting fireworks every night. And then on 4th of July, you couldn't even breathe. The air was so full of fireworks smoke, and the smoke wouldn't clear for a couple days. So it was just, ugh. But yeah. Up here, it's very quiet. Where I live, I don't think the city I live in allows fireworks. So, yeah, it's usually very quiet here. Plus, there's a lot of rules about fireworks up here because where I live, there's a lot of forests and stuff, and they don't let people light off fireworks in the forests because it could start forest fires. So, but yeah. See. Wow says, hey Alex, does more blades on a prop make a ship faster, or does more boilers help make a ship faster? It's hard to say because it's really more of a balance. Some ships, they need only 3 propellers, but some ships need 6 propellers. It really just depends on what you need out of it for it to be faster. And unfortunately, I don't know enough about hydrodynamics to answer that question. I really don't. Because some ships, they didn't need... I mean, you look at Titanic, each of its propellers had 3 blades, and that's what they decided was good for what they need. They didn't want a ship with a 4-bladed propeller on the 2 outer screws. It just depends on what they need, I guess. But yeah, I don't know enough about hydrodynamics to answer that question. But as for boilers, generally speaking, the more boilers you have, the more steam volume you can produce, which is good because on certain ships, having a lot of steam volume helps you to produce really fast speed. Now, when you look at the difference between Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth, for instance, both ships, Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth, had the exact same type of engines. They both had 4 sets of engines, and they were the same exact type of engine. However, the difference was that Queen Mary had 24 rather large Yarrow boilers, but Queen Elizabeth had 12 super large Yarrow boilers. I say super large because I don't know how else to describe it. They were huge. They were they were almost double the size of Queen Mary's Yarrow boilers. But the difference was that Queen Mary could produce a lot more volume of steam than the Queen Elizabeth could. Queen Elizabeth produced just fine. She produced enough steam just fine for what she needed. But Queen Mary was the one that was being used for racing for the Blue Riband. So the ship that they used for racing was the one that got the most horsepower, so to speak. So Queen Mary was given a larger volume of steam simply by having so many boilers. And yeah, but Queen Elizabeth was designed for efficiency, not for speed. She was designed to meet certain requirements. She needed to be able to do a 28, 29 knot cruising speed, but she did not need to compete for the Blue Riband. That's what the Queen Mary was for. So they only gave Queen Elizabeth enough power for her to meet her service speeds. So yeah, pretty much. Daniel says, do you think that what happened to the steam locomotives when they got scrapped will happen to the trains today? I think yeah. I think people today don't care really what these trains look like. I mean, for instance, if you picked a random family off the street and said, hey, will you wait 1 minute to watch a steam locomotive cross this street with a bunch of old-fashioned cars behind it? They'd be like, yeah, and they'd pull out their phones and be like, oh, let's see, But if you took the same family and said, hey, will you wait 1 minute to watch this diesel locomotive go by with a bunch of modern freight cars, they'd be like, no, we're busy, we gotta go, sorry, and then they'd walk away. That's the thing, is that people today, and this is always the case, people rarely think that something as modern as what we have today is as valuable for posterity. So, even I am a contributor to that mindset. I don't really value modern diesel locomotives for posterity because they're modern. There's tons of them everywhere. But it isn't until after the era is over, after these things are starting to be lost to time, that you start to appreciate it. So, steam locomotives, they're preserved and adored because no one makes them anymore, and they're a sign of an older time. But yeah, so it's kind of the same thing. It's also part of the reason why there wasn't much push to preserve the RMS Olympic when Olympic was being scrapped in 1935. Same thing for Mauretania, 1935, being scrapped as well. Both those ships were very famous ships, much beloved. There was some attempt to save RMS Olympic, but it never really got off the ground. And the reason why is because people think like I think right now. They think, these ocean liners, that's great. They were fast, they were powerful, they were famous. But there's new ocean liners being built all the time is what they were thinking. There's no need to preserve something old and raggedy when we can have a newer, better ocean liner. And in fact, it was true. The next year, Queen Mary came out and was introduced. That same year that they scrapped Olympic and Mauretania, SS Normandy came about and wowed everybody. So that's the thing is that people rarely appreciate what we have in a historical context if it's something modern. So, all right. Spunky Games says, hey, Alex, would you rather see the launch of Queen Mary or sail on her maiden voyage in cabin class? I'd rather sail on her maiden voyage in cabin class. Let's see. Conrad says King George. It was King George when we had our independence from Britain? Why don't I know that? I thought it was King Charles. I'm going to have to look at my history. George the Third, says Brian. Okay. Brian says, but do you know why America wanted independence from George the Third? There was a lot of reasons. Chief among them was that the British were using the American colonies, obviously, to do their farming, to do their industry, and all the goods and things would be transported to Britain. And the idea was supposed to be that Britain would take care of the colonies. Britain would supply them with the funding they needed, would supply them with the supplies that they needed. You know, it would take care of them. And the thing was that it became more and more one-sided. It became more and more that Great Britain was taking, but not giving anything back, not helping or assisting. They were charging huge amounts of taxes to the Americans. And then as well as the fact that they would... See, everybody in the colonies, they drank tea just like the Brits did. And so one of the big issues was that Britain was sending them tea and then forcing them to pay taxes on the tea. So people were like, what? That's what led to the Boston Tea Party, was that people protested it by throwing the tea overboard. So there was a lot of different issues going on. A lot of the issues contributed to that. But you know, there was also law and order. You know, the British would also the British would send their troops, and the troops would occupy people's homes. You know, the troops needed places to live, and people in the colonies were expected to allow the British troops to stay there in their home. And that wasn't fair because, you know, unless they never saw British troops unless it was something that Britain really wanted or needed, and that's when they sent it over. So whenever the Americans needed help from Britain, they wouldn't do anything like that. So there was a lot of reasons why we sought independence from Great Britain. And and a bunch of founding fathers, as we call them, had drafted and signed the Declaration of Independence, which we still have today. It's a really interesting document, actually. You know, I'm not being all like, you know, America kind of person, but when you read the Declaration of Independence, it's a really amazing document. And the history behind the document itself is actually pretty cool. How it was kept and stored over the years, and who had it. And, you know, at one point the Declaration of Independence was, you know, kept nailed to a wall in somebody's office for like decades before they decided to conserve it. So pretty interesting. Let's see. John C. says, most of Portland area fireworks are illegal. Yeah, I bet. Because I haven't heard any the last 2 years. Pookie. Yeah, people have been suggesting that I be a speaker in the Illuminations Theater. The only thing is that I don't know that... First of all, I don't know that it would do anything to benefit me. I don't think that they would give me a discount on my trip or anything for that. Because as far as I know, guest speakers who speak in the Illuminations Theater on Queen Mary 2, they still pay full price for their ticket. And they do what they do as a volunteer kind of thing. But the other thing, too, is I don't think I'll have time to do guest speaking. Because I will be filming the ship. I will be very busy filming everything about the ship. Because, like I said, there's going to be lots of videos based on the ship. Especially, I want to film a documentary and make a documentary about the Queen Mary 2. So that'll require me to film every inch of the ship that I can. So, you know, I don't know if I'll do that. But yeah. Thank you, Titanic Films by Mark. Hi. Boop. Did you take a nap? Was it a very short nap? Did I keep you awake because I was talking to everybody on the live stream? She's so funny. Alright, I should end the live stream now, though. Let me just make sure that there isn't any other really important comments I get to. What? You want to go? Oh, okay, I see. She's telling me she has to go. All right. All right, folks, I think that's it. I read everybody's comments here. There isn't anything too important for me to respond to. Yeah, I know, Freya. I'm going to go now. I've got to take her home, and she's probably got to go potty, too. So thank you guys, everybody, for watching. I might do a live stream tomorrow for Independence Day, so stay tuned for that. See you all. Thank you. Yes, I love you, too. See you all later, guys. Bye-bye.